You join me inside the cabin of the 2020 Rolls-Royce. Can't do it like that. Gotta be more elegant. You join me inside the cabin of the 2020 Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge. This is a mansion on wheels, complete with its own set of electronic butlers and your portion of the night sky. Rolls-Royce knew that its customers wanted SUVs, so they didn't want them to have to go to other automakers to get those premium SUVs, so they brought one to them, the Cullinan. And this is the last I'm going to be speaking like this, because I'm putting myself to sleep.
Holy roller. Holy purple roller. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge in Twilight Purple, which is an extra $11,900, which just pales in comparison to the as-tested $460-something thousand. Oh boy. There's so much to unpack with this one, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to take a little while. It's going to be a longer review. Apologies in advance, but you can skip ahead as usual. I will put the timestamps for exterior, interior, and driving impressions in the comments below. And a couple things to get out of the way. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Do so for yourself. Get yourself a daily video with not just the Cullinan, but so many other cool new vehicles. We've got walkarounds, we've got POV drives, and we have these reviews. And if you want to support the channel, you are my hero, my absolute hero. And there are a few different ways you can do that. We've got merch, t-shirts and the like, and we've got a Patreon account with some pretty cool perks for you. So check those out. And of course, if you don't want to hear me speaking anymore, I completely understand. We've got POV drives, day and night, ASMR style with 3D audio, and a walk around of this very Cullinan Black Badge right here. And without further ado, let's get into all of the unboxing of this big old box. So first off, for 2020, the Black Badge comes alive with black exterior accents in certain places, like this grille in black chrome, the Spirit of Ecstasy, also in black chrome, these lower inlet arm accent things, also in black chrome. We've got some unique 22-inch wheels with a mixture of chrome finish and black, along with red painted brake calipers. You cannot get these brake calipers in any other color besides red, so choose your exterior color accordingly. I don't necessarily think purple and red is the best color combo, but I mean, it's a purple Rolls-Royce. You want to stand out, there's hardly a better way to do it. You've got some black window trim for the doors there. And then these exhaust outlets are also finished in black chrome. You can see quad exhaust within those. And of course, you have your black badges, hence the name. Ooh, more black chrome trim for the sill beneath the tailgate. And then of course, the Black Badge is not just a styling package. You get additional performance, but we will get into that in just a bit. More on the exterior. The Cullinan it's a bit divisive in its design, because when you think of what's the right way to see an SUV out of a Rolls-Royce, I would argue this is pretty spot on to how I would imagine it. You take the Phantom, upon platform which this is based, and you sort of SUV-ify it. So you get the taller greenhouse, more ground clearance, and a hatch instead of a trunk. And therefore you have your SUV. But whether it's actually good looking, that is, I'm going to say the jury's still out for me. I think in the right color scheme, I personally like the black on black look for the Cullinan. I think in the right color scheme, which actually this purple almost looks black in certain light. Now this light definitely looks purple in this light. It's like Barney's car. But in certain color schemes, it looks pretty good. There's nothing truly offensive about the design, but in this ultra premium SUV segment, there are perhaps better looking vehicles. I think it looks better than the Bentayga, just because I'm not a huge fan of the Bentayga exterior styling. But whether it looks better than a Range Rover SV Autobiography, no, it just doesn't look better than that. But as we will see when we get to the interior, it treats you far better than that car, far better than any other SUV, and that's what you're paying for. So, fascia-wise, we've got some LED headlights and LED daytime running lights. Let's get you a better look at that purple too. So you can see the metal flake in it, but it's a royal purple. It's pretty deep, but it can, in different shades of sunlight, become a brighter purple, but it's really a deeper purple in most lighting. Down here, got some functional air venting. I mean, we got to get something in there cooling that V12, 6.75 liter V12. The suspension is controlled by a camera, or not controlled by it, but it's activated by a camera. The air suspension sees the road blemishes coming up and then dampens the suspension accordingly. So some of your camera systems that we see in this vehicle are going to control that system. And the Spirit of Ecstasy just looks good, like always. And, for those of you who don't know, if someone tries to steal this, which is common apparently for Rolls-Royces, if you try to take it, it will hide itself. So I'm going to see if I can activate it. No. Oh, there it goes. It scared me. It scared me with how much it wanted to get out of there. So yes, no one is going to steal your Spirit of Ecstasy, because it hits the trapdoor and it's gone. I do like the design of these. They look like rotary dial wheels. And then, of course, you have your suicide doors. So opening this way naturally for the driver door, and then this way for the rear passengers. This is probably the best look on the Cullinan for me. The way that the hatch comes down, the roofline comes down. The roof-mounted spoiler, I could take it or leave it, but the hatch coming down and giving a little dip off to the back end of the car, almost mimicking a trunk in a way. That's pretty cool. Oh, and look who it is. It's Forrest of Forrest Auto Reviews. He's going to be helping me out with this segment later, so stay tuned for that. But let's finish up the exterior walk around of the Cullinan Black Badge first. The rear look, a bit plain. Plain if you ask me. Does it look like, let's just sum it up, does it look like a $300,000 plus SUV? No. No, it doesn't. It looks good, and it looks unusual. Unusual and remarkable, especially in a purple exterior color. But I wouldn't immediately go, oh, that's got to be worth, in this as tested, $460,000. No, I wouldn't say that. But I wouldn't confuse it for anything except for a Rolls-Royce, especially when viewed from the front angle. And I think that's what Rolls-Royce is going for with this car. It can't be anything but a Rolls, and that's what it is, especially when you see the just regal grille. All right, so that'll do for the exterior. Oh, the games are about to begin. The interior of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge, complete with purple accents to match the exterior, all of which you have to pay extra for. So we've got this purple stitching across the dashboard, along with purple leather piping beneath that. Whether you like the purple or not, I like the use of the contrasting leather color beneath and the contrast stitching Looks really good and runs the whole width of the dashboard, starting from all the way down here. You also have that in the doors themselves. You've got the purple leather on the door insert part, which looks great amidst the all black leather. You have the embossed Spirit of Ecstasy within the door. By the way, just everything is leather. Everything. Everything that isn't a trim piece or brushed metal finish or accent is leather. So all of the door panel all the way down here, typically cars, when you get to here, they stop with the leather and nice stuff and get into just hard plastics. That's all leather. That's what you're getting with the Rolls-Royce treatment. And you get that purple contrast stitch down below. Leather even to like the sub door panel. Like, that's just, it's crazy. But this is what your foot is going to brush up against. And how dare your foot brush up against anything but leather in a Rolls-Royce. This one also has the bespoke audio system for Rolls-Royce. Fantastic system, coming from a non-audiophile. Really great sound quality, crystal clear acoustics. And you see some of the ambient lighting panels right in here. So you've only got 2 ambient lighting colors. I'll show those in the POV night drive. But there's a white light and a cool light, so a more yellowish light to the ambient lighting. Really bright metal finish, chrome finish for the door handles and for the window switches down here, along with, this is the only real piece of piano black that you're going to see in the car. Well, that's not true. It's one of the few pieces of piano black you'll see in the car, but it's really high quality stuff. And then I love this. It's a full-on like joystick to control your mirrors. So you switch over left or right mirror, and then you just push the joystick one way or the other. You can see the mirror moving. That's super cool. And then your trunk releases here. Down here, you're going to see controls for your massaging seats. Massaging seats, and then your memory seat functions down there. We're also getting our first look at the cross-stitched, it's kind of like a 3D carbon fiber look for the door trim material. And that's exclusive for the Black Badge model, this trim. It's not my favorite trim, to be honest, and it does run the whole width of the cabin and here in the center as well. It kind of looks like I'm in a deck of playing cards. You know, it's just, there's too much going on. I would prefer the wood grain, the matte wood, tactile feel of wood grain that you usually find in Rolls-Royces. This is not my style, but you know, it's unique. It's a good look. Some people are going to like it. Above that, we have some textured material. So instead of just your soft touch standard, this is a Rolls-Royce, so you're getting something extra. This has, almost looks like a crocodile leather that you have up with, that's within this section above the trim and beneath the dash headline, and that runs all the way over there as well. Let's just fire this guy on real quick. I have to put my foot on the brake, probably. Okay. It's not too loud, even though it's a V12, because there's good sound deadening. These illuminated sill plates, the kick plates, that is an option. And you've got Cullinan spelled out here, and some dirt on that, apologies. Lambswool floor mats. This is yet another option, and let me tell you, lambswool, if this isn't luxury, I don't know what is. For my hand to just sink in to the floor mats, along with the leather quilted patterns for your feet. Anything you touch is supposed to be supple in this car. So even if your foot is just resting on one of these when you're, you know, not pressing the accelerator, not pressing the brake, oh man, that's good stuff. Again, purple, wouldn't go with it as a color, but lambswool, 100% would go with it, because money is clearly not an object at this price point. Your auto hold for your braking function, all of your light controls are over here. Your active driver assist functions are at the press of the button there. Power controls for your steering wheel, because only a peasant would move their steering wheel rack manually. And the seats themselves, I mentioned the embossed RR, the purple piping around, very comfortable headrests, so soft. These seats have ventilation and heating and the aforementioned massaging. A bunch of other controls. You can control just the thigh support, your lumbar, you name it. Now let's go into the car, and of course, as I showed in the introduction, you wouldn't dare close the door yourself. I, of course, tried because I am a peasant, and I tried to close the door myself the first time I got in the car because I didn't realize it had automatic closing, and I'm like, where do I grab? There's nothing on here. The door handle just opens, so that's like a weird place to grab. There's nowhere to grab, so you clearly aren't supposed to try to close the door yourself, but I did. Instead, you press this button, and it closes just like that. Turn down the air conditioning and give you a quick pan of the cabin. Your first look at the Shooting Star headliner. Yet another option, and one I would absolutely spend the money on because it's so cool. It's hard to see during the day, but at night, this is rad. There are like 1,300 fiber optic lights making up a recreation of the night sky. Coolest thing about this feature is that Rolls-Royce will customize this for you. So you won't just have any Shooting Star night sky configuration. You can have it set to a particular viewing point on planet Earth at a particular time of the year. So I could say, I want this to look like Ohio, I don't know why Ohio's night sky in the month of May. And it will just recreate the night sky for you from that viewing point at that month. That's the Rolls-Royce experience, ladies and gentlemen. It's so freaking cool. And also, you may have seen a couple stars shooting across the top of the headliner. That is the Shooting Star package. Again, really hard to see during the day, but you'll get a view of that in the POV night drive. And back up here at the front, we have the steering wheel wrapped in leather with the typical Rolls-Royce, like these chrome finishes beneath the center line of the steering wheel. This is all in leather and feels great. The Rolls-Royce badge, some controls for your adaptive cruise control, and then for your audio system, your gear stock is over here. So like a Mercedes-Benz vehicle, the gear stock is up here along the steering column. It's not down here. It's not some buttons on the center stack. It is this gear stock. And so your reverse neutral drive, park is the press of a button, and then because it's the Black Badge model, it has a low range, which is Rolls-Royce speak for sport mode. Press the low range and you get better throttle response and quicker shifts. It'll actually hold gears for longer as well. The gauge cluster is a mix of analog and digital. So analog borders, the chrome borders for each of the dials, but digital inserts. So you can see if I turn off the car completely and lock it, these panels will darken. So you can see the blend of, the progressive mixed with the classic. I think it's a cool carryover. It's still a bummer in that when you turn off the car, like, you don't have any jewelry to look at, kind of like you did in the Bentayga, but at least the dials look very analog. They look pretty cool and 3D because they are digital. And it almost looks like there's texture within the dials themselves, which is neat. And you just have your trip information down there and your direction. That's kind of all you can change from within the gauge cluster. And then we have your infotainment, and this is probably the letdown of the car because it's not that it's the worst thing in the world, but it's an outdated version of BMW's iDrive software. So it's not a bespoke system. Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW, and so they're using shared technology here. And so it is touchscreen, and that's neat. It is a pretty wide display, widescreen, kind of letterbox look to it, but it's not the most intuitive thing in the world, and it's not the most responsive thing in the world, and certainly not the most cutting edge. But you can control things like the Spirit of Ecstasy. I could make it raise or lower right from here. So we already saw that I scared it away, but let's raise it up. Come now. There we go. And she's back. All is right with the world. Spirit of Ecstasy is back. And your navigation is within here. If you wanted massaging seats, those are within here as well. Let's go to vehicle settings. Seat comfort. Driver's seat. Let's get that massage going. Seat massage. Here are your different seat massage selections. Whole body activation. And because I'm dying, I'm going to turn on the air conditioning, which is now when we can address that this doesn't just have like low, medium, and high. It has off, soft, medium, and I do think max doesn't kind of work with the Rolls-Royce branding, but soft. I love that low is soft. That's great. Like the Bentley Bentayga, we have these push and pull wands, if you will, that let you open or close the air vents, which themselves are these big metal gorgeous things. That's your volume control there. More of the cross-stitched 3D carbon fiber. See what the navigation looks like in here. Again, a little outdated in terms of the infotainment, but you know, it's not a bad map at all. Not as cool as the latest from Porsche and Volkswagen and Audi, but it works. Definitely works. So that is the infotainment. You've got your pre-selects for your radio stations. Showed you the air conditioning. Here's where your heating and ventilation controls are. 3 levels for each. Then this, well, let's get down to the key for a second. So forgive the number that is from the fleet management company there. But in black chrome is the surface of this. That's part of the Black Badge, along with the Black Badge on the Rolls-Royce. Big, heavy thing. And then the color matching leather for the backing of the key. So cool. But this is a solid piece of key right there. So if you want to close this, you press that in, and then you have more of the trim going on the center. And I believe that's part of an option package to have the extended veneer, having the veneer, in this case the trim, extended all the way through the center. You can see it also continues in here where there is a pocket to put all your trash. I guess out of sight, out of mind. Down here we have your selector for your infotainment. It can control that with the Spirit of Ecstasy within the center. And then we have your air suspension. You can raise or lower the car, and you can activate your camera. Never rely solely on the rear camera system. Yes, promise. Off-road modes. So because this is an SUV, Rolls-Royce thinks that, no, they don't. They know their customers aren't going to take it really off-road, but if they wanted to, they could. So you can turn on whether you want traction control off, dynamic stability control off, but these are all your traction settings for off-road mode, and it will raise the suspension when you do all of this as well. To give it a fair amount of ride clearance, we may just have to take it off-road today. We shall see. Over here, we have an analog clock with the same like infinity badge that we see in a few different places on the car. Again, black chrome and this crocodile-style leather, not real leather, just looking leather centerpiece above, more door trim. Okay, and I think that's going to do it for the front cabin. Let's go on to the rear. Now, of course, suicide doors. So we open this way. Nice wide opening, and apart from the Tesla Model X's, falcon wing doors, this is as cool as it gets for getting into an SUV. Pretty spectacular. A lot of this hatched 3D carbon trim here, Rolls-Royce bespoke audio, piano black in there, and more Spirit of Ecstasy embossing, and just leather all over the place. You've got a USB-C port there, and then you can raise or lower the seat backs from within here. Cullinan sill plates again, along with these lambswool. Oh my gosh, I could just do this all day. This is so plush. But here are your rear seats. Better look at the starry night sky from back here, especially when we get inside and close the doors. But it just goes all over the headliner. So cool. Let's hop in. And closing the door from here, because only a plebeian would close the door with their own hand. And now when we're back here, you can see we are really lounged out. 6 feet tall, that's my driving position. give or take an inch. And I mean, my legs are stretched. And these seat backs don't really recline anymore. So this is let's do a flip around. You know, I've got plenty of headroom, clearly plenty of leg room. This is nice. This is real nice. I feel like I am in luxury heaven right now, for sure. So no real ambient lighting or anything coming down here. That's just a reflection. I thought it was ambient lighting for a second. Showing you the door. We've got a little door pocket down here. And then, because this one has the rear theater and picnic tables configuration, this will come down, power, along with your trim for the base panel. And then press this button right here on this side, and the TV, big 8-inch monitors. This is part of the theater configuration. You have it on that side and this side. So you've got your own rear seat entertainment right here. And similar setup to the infotainment up front, and less of a pain that it's not as cutting edge because it's a rear seat entertainment unit. You'll be able to watch anything you want. You'll be able to control your audio settings. You can check out the navigation. You can check out the car's features, and you can control you do have heated armrests and seats for the rear seats, along with, they don't have ventilation and massaging for the rear seats. Bit of a letdown. But that is an option. There are a million options in this car. And you'd think at $460 something, however many thousands of dollars this car is, it would have all the options. But that's not fully loaded. Despite all the options it has, you can still have more. Up it goes. You can see a couple of air vents back here, more of this trim, your own single zone climate control. Actually, no, it's dual zone, my mistake. But only one fan speed setting, but 2 independent zones of hot or cool. Your rear seat heating back here. And some aux ports for headphone inputs for the rear seat entertainment. Your lights. You can make the stars shoot, let's see, or turn them on or off. So turning them off, they just kind of fade nicely. Turning on, and then I think this makes a star shoot. Or I'm just making stuff up. This does something. Mark my words, this does something. But the shooting star element is pretty rad. This at night it's a crowd pleaser. Now, another option you can have in this car that this one doesn't is you can have champagne flutes and a full-on refrigerator system back here. This one just has a cubby for some stuff and cup holders up here. So, doesn't have the best that Rolls-Royce offers, but what is this? I think this is a pass-through, yes. So fold that forward and that's a pass-through. But you can, rest assured, you can get a fridge and champagne flutes for the rear seat accommodations. Yeah, this is nice. We're going to have to do some ride impressions as well as drive impressions. That's what I'm thinking. Now let's hop into the trunk space. And you can see that it's a dual hatch situation. So you've got the above piece with microfiber suede for your cargo cover. And then that's how you open and close the tailgate. But down here, you can lower this piece. And one option that this one doesn't have but is available for the Cullinan is the rear picnic. Honestly, cannot remember the name for it, but you can get a set of tailgate seats back here. So you could have just 2 individual seats along with a table, so you can really just lounge back here and enjoy tailgating in ultimate style. This model does not have that equipped, but it is an option. Under here you have your extra cargo cover, again with the microfiber suede paneling. And then if you need to level out the floor, you can press this button right here and it will raise the floor up so you won't have that hump. So when you fold those seats down, which you can do so from here, I will list the cargo capacity figures with both with the seats up and with them down. So you can see with that ramped like that, then it makes for an even floor. Though it isn't flat, it's an even floor, but you can still have the hump go all the way down if you want to have kind of separation like so. One thing I didn't mention when I was in the rear seats is that as an option, again, there are a million options, but as an option, you can have the rear seat compartment separated from the front via a glass partition, or separated from the trunk rather via a glass partition. So if you were getting driven around and if your driver was going to be accessing the rear compartment and you didn't want any disruption to the climate of the interior or any noise, any unwanted noise, then you could have that glass partition set up between here and the cargo area so that you would have none of that disturbance. You would just get to focus on the luxury that is the rear passenger's space of the Rolls-Royce Cullinan. You've got more of those bespoke audio speakers back there. Do not know the number of speakers that you have or the output, but I can list that in the description. Let's make this go up. Let's make this go down. And we're gonna rev up and go drive this purple Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black. My goodness, I almost forgot something that will either affirm the Rolls-Royce Cullinan's interior exquisiteness or completely undermine it. It is the large water bottle test, Rolls-Royce Cullinan style. So let's pop open these cup holders and see if they're going to be accommodating to my, no, they're not. That's not gonna work. Center console doesn't look that big. I don't think this is gonna work out. Oh, it's close. But no, that is not gonna happen. Door pockets, they look pretty narrow. No, well, I mean, you can do that. And because the car drives so softly and smoothly, I doubt this would ever move from its spot. So, you know, kind of, I'm going to give it a sort of soft pass on that one. Cue the cheering. But glove box, the last place, the last hope for the Cullinan Black Badge. Is it going to fit? Oh, it fits in the glove box, which is totally inaccessible and no one would ever do that. So you can carry a large water bottle with you in the Cullinan Black Badge. You just won't ever want to take it out. I'm giving this car a pass anyway, just because it's freaking awesome. All right, I'm ready to take this Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge out for a spin and give you the driver's perspective, but I'm feeling like I want the passenger's perspective at the same time, and to do that, I'm gonna need some help. So, let's see. Forrest, do you want to ride?
Hey, Miles. Sure. Whoa. Yeah, I'd love to go for a ride.
I think you should get a ride.
Let's do this.
Okay. Let's rock and roll.
How do you shut the door on this thing?
Not by hand, that's for sure. There's a button above your right shoulder.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
Very nice.
Yeah, only a peasant would close his own door.
Yeah,
in this
why
car.
would I close my door after holding my briefcase?
I don't know, but put on your seatbelts
Yes.
and let's get this show on the road.
I'm not gonna lie, for a second I thought I was gonna put my seatbelt on for me.
That would have been cool, and I think a missed opportunity for Rolls-Royce. So if you're watching Rolls-Royce, where's the auto seatbelt put on? Put on? Where's the auto seatbelt on putter? I'm gonna make that up. Ooh, I'm already feeling the luxury from this driver's seat.
I'm feeling pretty luxurious back here. I know I've already taken off my shoes.
Did you really?
I did, because this lambswool on the carpet, right?
Purple lambswool at that.
It's like,
Oh my gosh.
it's
Can you
like
believe
my
that
foot
there's?
is resting on a cloud.
Oh yeah.
It is amazing.
I need to experience that shortly. But I have to ask you, can you believe that this is a V12 right now? Because it sounds like nothing.
I can barely hear that there's even an engine.
And that's what you should experience as a rear seat passenger in this car.
but a 6.75 liter twin turbo V12, making in the Black Badge 592 horsepower, up from the regular Cullinan's 563 horsepower. It sounds like a lot, but from the driver's seat and that seat, I'm imagining it doesn't feel like much. You're just kind of cruising.
It doesn't, and I have a very interesting point to bring up.
What is that?
It's funny because with this car, they obviously try very hard to mute all the noises you don't want to hear, just like engine noise, transmission, shifting, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like completely dial out all of that. So it almost makes sense that you would make something like this electric.
Yes, but it can also do this.
Nice.
Jeez.
Dude, okay, yeah, that feels pretty wild from the back.
That
seat,
feels
actually.
wrong for a thing of this size and weight, 5,800 pounds.
Yeah.
And this big and unaerodynamic doing that. 0 to 60 is 4.5 seconds. Top speed is like 170 miles an hour in this.
Like imagine getting your condominium and it moving to 60 in 4.5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. That's what this is. This is
a
crazy.
condo on wheels
This is crazy.
with a V12.
Oh my gosh.
crazy.
And the Black Badge also means that you get the upgraded brake calipers, so bigger braking force, and it has a retuned suspension with a stiffer suspension setting, so it's not going to be a stiff suspension. You're never going to find that in a Rolls-Royce, but it has a stiffer suspension setting, and with the low mode. So you have on the gear stock here a low button, basically sport mode for Rolls-Royce.
Yes.
So that's all with the Black Badge. So it's the sportier of the, Cullinan set, but it's still not a sports SUV. This is first and foremost a luxury SUV,
Yeah.
as I'm sure you're experiencing.
Yeah, I don't feel any sort of uncomfort or hard suspension back here. I mean, it really feels like I'm watching. I'm in an Omni theater watching a movie about driving.
Driving.
It's like I see that the world around me is moving.
Yeah, but you're
But
just
I
in a
don't-
cocoon.
Yeah, there's no translation of the outside world really coming into here, which is it's just a pretty insane feeling because we've both been in
Yeah.
a lot of vehicles that are very luxurious,
Super
that
luxurious.
exclude the outside world very well. But
Yeah.
this
This is just a different level.
It is.
And I mean, the noise is, so you've already discussed like basically the feeling of being cocooned, but additionally in terms of that, just the noise level in here is so low. And this being an SUV with the it's not aerodynamic at all. It's basically a flat face bursting through the air, and the noise level is so quiet.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Like I think we're talking to each other.
Not in
Okay.
raised voices at all.
Disclosure.
Yeah.
I had dinner with Miles and his wife and my wife last night.
Yeah.
And we're talking at about the same decibel level as we would across the table.
Dude, it's so true.
While going 60 miles an hour.
Uh-huh.
So
That's nuts.
that's pretty crazy.
When you put it that way, that's actually crazy.
Yeah.
We're not talking any louder than we normally would.
No, not at all.
And we're doing freeway speeds right now. We're doing
Yes.
65.
You can't even tell. Heck, you're closer to 70 right now.
Yep. And you can probably see that because the head-up display. Can you see it?
No, I
Just
can
the
see your speedometer right there.
Yeah, it's a big head-up display. There's a big analog gauge on the outside, and then the digital tach. But also, not just the rear passenger is comfortable. I am very comfortable as a driver. A, because I've got massaging seats going on right now,
Perfect.
and B, because this seat is so supple. Probably the same. I mean, yours is probably a little more cushiony, but this is pretty darn good.
It's pretty good, but there are some complaints though from back here.
Okay, go for it.
And the tough part with this car is it confuses me in terms of the clientele, because with most Rolls Royces, some people may or may not have a chauffeur that drives them around.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm guessing if you're getting a Cullinan, you have a family and you
Right.
want to drive them around in the absolute best luxury.
Yeah.
So I was going to complain that there's heated seats back here. There's no cooled seats back here.
No.
There's no massaging setting back here. I have my.
Those are options, though. I think you can add on those options.
Can you?
The ventilation, I know you can. I don't know about massaging.
Not sure about massaging.
Yeah.
I know in terms of comfort, it's absolutely excellent. I've got my cup holders back here, which are decent.
Yeah.
Storage space. There is a USB-C, not a USB, but one USB-C, but it's in a very odd place here in the door pocket, which I can't see because of these tinted windows. It's very dark back here.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just have to guess or lean down in this really awkward fashion to see where my USB.
Hopefully you're a
C
kid
is.
and you're more nimble and you can just kind of like squeeze your arm back in there.
Hopefully. There's just surprisingly not a ton of, I guess, creature comforts back here, which is very surprising. I mean, I do have like my vents, which is cool. I've got heated seats. I can adjust my temperature down here. I have a table. I do have this screen which I can control like audio and things through, but it feels laggy. It feels last generation in terms of the graphics, the way it responds.
Yep.
It just doesn't feel like a 2019, 2020
luxury
level technology, especially when you're paying $500,000.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And I mean, from the front, like I've already complained a little bit in the interior walk around about the infotainment and how it's like last generation BMW iDrive. So the tech is not the most cutting edge, but I think that what I'm learning as I spend more time in different Rolls-Royce models is like they do traditional luxury the best. Like absolute traditional, like soft seats, soft surfaces, low noise in the cabin, the dual pane glass, the added insulation, the ride quality. Oh my gosh, this air suspension is insane.
Yeah,
I mean, like you're
so
already experiencing a little bit, especially because that for 2020 they added like lounge seats, so those seats are extra cushy. But the ride quality does so much in terms of that air suspensioning, absorbing all the blows. I mentioned in the exterior walk around, there's a camera system. So most air suspensions, they just respond, like they adapt as things happen. But the camera system in this car tells the air suspension when something harsh is about to happen. So like it knows what's going to happen and it will dampen the car. We're now in traffic, so I'm not actually, like I'm talking about this and I can't show you.
Sure,
but
even in traffic, it's absolutely serene.
Yeah, it's so nice. And to be sure, like if you're getting driven around, like you're gonna hit traffic at some point, and you know, you just being able to coast along is really, really nice. But yeah, I mean, it's got the pickup when you need it, and that's really all you'll use like that 592 horsepower for. It's like I need to get up to speed on the freeway. No one's gonna be racing in this thing. You're not. It's competing with the Bentley Bentayga Speed and the Mercedes Maybach GLS, and both those vehicles have power. Certainly, the Speed makes 626 horsepower, so more than this, but the GLS makes 550, so less than this. So this is kind of sandwiched in the middle. But whereas the Speed is a little more like hard edge performance, still with that luxury, this is totally firmly in the like we're just suppling things up. Yeah,
I do agree with that statement. I think I think with the Mercedes, it definitely aims to be the ultimate well-rounded one. With the Bentayga, they obviously have more of a focus on performance, since it's officially right up there with the Urus in terms of top speed, fastest SUV.
190.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's crazy for a thing that big.
The exhaust in that car actually sounded really good.
Yeah, the W12.
So the exhaust sounded good, and everything about it just felt a little bit more performance. I mean, the thing has a wing.
Yeah.
A little wing on the back.
Which feels wrong for a Bentley.
It feels very wrong.
but you kind of give it the pass.
For sure. Whereas this, I do agree, it's mainly focused on traditional luxury, and I think the additional horsepower, it's not there for speed purposes, it's there for ease of use purposes.
Right.
For barely having to put any thought into the accelerator to get up to whatever speed you need to get to.
Right.
And always having more power than you need, just because of that whole motto. It's always better to have more and not need it.
Yeah, you would never want to be in a situation where you like didn't have enough.
Yeah,
like that's what Rolls-Royce is very much against.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll never have that situation.
That's a good point. Yeah, because it like it even goes back to when Rolls-Royce first was making cars. They would always never like quote the actual power figure. They just said it has like a sufficient amount of power. Like it's adequate. Adequate is the word that they use. It has adequate horsepower. So whatever situation you're going to need, it makes that much power and a little more.
Yeah.
So that's what we experience here in the Cullinan Black Badge.
For sure.
How do you feel about like the trim materials and how it looks in this spec? Would this be how you would spec the car?
Absolutely not.
You think
looks,
so?
I mean, it seriously looks like the Joker just robbed a bank,
Yeah.
and he went out and custom made himself a Rolls-Royce Cullinan.
Yep.
I mean, you had mentioned it earlier, but the way the carbon fiber is weaved on here, it looks like something you would see at like a Las Vegas casino. I mean, this whole interior looks like something you'd see at a Las Vegas casino.
Yeah.
And then the purple just makes it even more outrageous. I'm not really sure the proper word to use to describe this.
It's a little outrageous. I mean, then again, like you're standing out in a Rolls Royce, but I feel like something about this is contradictory to the way that you want to stand out in a Rolls Royce. You know, like this is...
Yes, this is... I feel like if you get a purple Rolls Royce, there goes a normal Rolls Royce right there, which looks great.
okay, the Cullinan. I missed it.
Yeah,
wow, and you don't see these very often.
No.
We just saw Cullinan.
We just saw another Cullinan.
That's crazy.
That was gray, and it looked great. And he's probably wondering, like, man, who is this guy who probably just won the lottery and went out and bought
I'm
himself?
literally watching a person take a photo of the car from behind us. Do you see that person? They just like
I
snap
see
the
him.
iPhone
He's
photo.
snapping a picture because it's the craziest thing. And we're in Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
You see very nice vehicles out here.
You do.
And a purple Rolls-Royce Cullinan
Is still...
just says, I have so much money that not only am I going to buy a $500,000 SUV, but I'm going to paint it a $12,000 shade of purple.
Yep.
Just because I can.
Yep.
It is hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably time for us to switch places, don't you think? And you to get the driver's experience, and I'm going to see what it's like in the passenger seat.
Perfect.
So let's hop to it. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right, so the way we do this is we press this button here.
Yep.
Okay.
Right up top. There you go.
Oh, that's nice.
There you are, sir. Are you comfortable?
I am comfortable. And I took a page out of your book. I took off my shoes.
Yes. This is the best thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see how to put this in drive. Use the stock, right?
Yeah, stock up there.
Okay. There we go.
And we're doing a little bit of light off-roading right now.
We're on this gravel road, which
Yeah.
you could probably never tell.
Never tell. I can't tell from back here, that's for sure.
No, I didn't even realize we were on a gravel road until I looked outside.
Was that a bump we just went over?
It was a bump we just went over.
Oh, wow.
We are on gravel right now.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Sure
that was
doesn't
the
kill us?
hardest bump I've ever felt,
Yeah.
which meant it was probably pretty gnarly.
Any other car suspension would have just broken on that. Okay, so first off, the Starry Night, the Shooting Star headliner.
Yes.
This is crazy. Even though this is the middle of the day, because these are so tinted back here,
Mhm.
this is dark, so I can see all these fiber optic lights. And oh yeah, is a leather headliner in here too. So,
So crazy.
though you aren't getting a glass moonroof, it's a leather headliner with the fiber optics.
Yep.
That's luxury. Everything is leather.
Everything.
Absolutely everything.
And if it's not leather, it is
like
real aluminum,
Mm-hmm.
or it is lambswool,
Okay, I'm stretching.
or carbon fiber. It is pretty incredible.
Okay, you gotta punch it. I gotta see what it's like.
All right, here we go. Oh, it's so smooth.
It's so crazy. I can feel the G-forces. That's the only thing I feel.
Yeah.
The only thing I hear like the light whir of the V12 trying to work,
Mm-hmm.
but it's doing so lazily because it has 12 cylinders to spread out.
Effortless.
Oh man.
Absolutely effortless.
You're right though. There's not a ton of creature comfort. I want my massaging seats.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm taking advantage of at this point.
I want my ventilation. I am gonna try the picnic tables because
Go for it.
it's $5,000. Why wouldn't I? And then let's bust out the infotainment. I'm now so far away from the infotainment I can't use it.
I'm feeling this is actually fairly easy to drive smoothly. So all the inputs are very progressive, which makes sense in this car because when I do things like brake, I want to be able to fully come to a stop without having that little jerk at the end. And I feel like this
Everything's smooth.
can come to a full stop in just a very progressive way. I mean, acceleration is butter. Like this thing's probably running off of double whipped cream.
Yeah, that's the fuel of the future.
Yeah, whipped cream. And it's cool. This is one of those vehicles where you know, you don't realize the symbol of what you're driving until you look out of that hood and you see that Spirit of Ecstasy emblem.
Or you realize everyone else is looking at you.
There's that too.
Literally everyone else.
But honestly, I'm probably just going to attribute that to the fact that this is purple and absolutely massive.
Yeah, I guess we could be driving like a Chrysler 200 and it was purple and everyone would be looking.
Yeah, we would definitely get looks.
That's
we can
true.
be in a purple Escalade or a Navigator.
That's true.
And get looks. But yeah, I guess it's even crazier when it's, you know, once again, a $450,000 SUV.
Okay, so let's be fair. It starts at, for the Cullinan, like 330,000, 332, and then the Black Badge is another 50,000 on top of that.
Okay.
And then, but then this one, as tested, you would think though, at $462,000, this would have every single bell and whistle, but it doesn't. You can go well beyond 500,000 with all of the options.
Which is crazy.
That's nuts. I agree with you. Like you were saying, like this isn't how you would spec it. I would spec it differently. I would spec it with their beechwood matte wood finish for the trim, and maybe not purple. Just not even maybe. Just definitely not purple. Yeah. But like the solid things here are just the quality of the materials. Everything is so premium. You're not going to find. We found one piece of cheap plastic,
and it's like right up here above the mirror,
completely hidden. No one is ever going to see or touch that.
Nope.
That's the only thing we can find that has any cheap resemblance anywhere. They covered it up. If there is cheapness, they completely covered it up.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible from a.
You taking a corner. This is me just like melting into the seat.
How are you doing back there, Miles?
I'm doing just fine.
Perfect.
Honestly, better than I was driving. And driving's really pleasant in this, though, as you can tell.
Yeah, and I'm actually surprised at how well this goes around a corner.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that level of feedback from this. So
yeah, the steering has some, even though it's electronic, like it has some feedback.
Yeah, pretty good feedback at that. I was actually very surprised.
Oh, I can adjust my headrest back here too. I forgot about that. Just the right.
But I can adjust everything from up here, so that's very pleasant.
You do win that.
I definitely win that one.
Alright, so like what are our thoughts? Like, okay, first off, let's frame it with the competitors. Bentley Bentayga Speed and Mercedes Maybach GLS, which, has anyone even driven that yet? Or is it still, it's like coming out?
I have no clue.
Okay, so let's just think Bentley Bentayga Speed to start, like for the starting price of that one, 236 grand, significantly less than this. Is this significantly more of a car, of a vehicle, over that Bentayga Speed?
I wouldn't say it's significant by any means. I'd say it feels a slight step above, but it also feels like a different mindset of luxury. I feel like the Bentley is a little bit more progressive.
I agree with you.
This is very traditional. This is
probably the most traditional.
Yeah, the most traditional. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys can hear this. I'm gonna turn down the AC. But like when I can do this to an air vent and it makes that noise, like that's real metal.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
It's true. Everything you look at that you think should be, okay, this looks like metal, it's metal.
It is
like
metal.
That's like solid. You could turn that into a weapon. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, if
you could turn that into a weapon.
The table?
Yeah.
Just take it off.
You know,
and
just like, hey,
just
the
WWE
end of the world
someone.
Is coming. Like, I'm WWF. I'm just gonna chair you with my metal.
Chair
table.
you with your.
This is $5,000.
Hit him with the table.
Yeah, but to your point of like everything just being like truly exquisite quality, that's what you're getting for this car for your stupid amounts of money.
Yeah.
And if that's what you want, there's no better way.
No.
If money is no object, there is no better way than a Rolls-Royce.
I would have to agree. Though there are a lot of people, including myself, that would get in this and really just expect a lot more. I mean, you have to remember that though this isn't as technologically advanced as most things you can buy today, it doesn't feel as sophisticated in terms of tech. I mean, when you're talking about just the luxury factor and just the traditional definition of luxury. I mean, this marks it just in spades.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I think the ride quality is hands down one of the best I've experienced.
Oh yeah, the ride quality alone actually is worth like a significant portion of this car's price tag. If you want the best ride quality, that's this for sure.
It is for sure, and yeah, I think they did a great job.
Just don't paint it purple.
Just don't paint it purple. Well,
Done and
Miles,
done.
we are parked. That's probably going to conclude everything.
Yeah. So where's the yacht? I don't see the yacht.
Hopefully we can review one soon.
Okay. All right, that's next.
Cool.
Thanks for your help, Forrest.
No problem, man.
And this is cool.
See you guys, maybe soon.
All right, so on my way to the back seats to switch out with Forrest, I realized I had forgotten one of the coolest features of the Cullinan or any Rolls-Royce is the umbrellas that are in the doors. Look at these things. You get one on each of the rear passenger doors. Look at this wand. So never will inclement weather stop you from having a good time because you've got an umbrella at your disposal. Click. In that goes.